So on the first video is he entered a lion's enclosure and found out. I could only imagine what he found out. I could only imagine, you know what I'm saying? There's only two options. You either got out or you did it. There's no just sitting in the cage on some cool shit, you know? He crazy as hell. That's him right there. He crazy as hell. What encouraged him to even come up with the thought of I'ma go into this lion's den? Where is he from? He can't be from America. Is this suicide on GTA? Like, what is going on?
And that's where I have to pause the video. And ladies and gentlemen, apparently this was a 19-year-old man who was mauled to death by a lioness at a zoo in Brazil after he snuck into her enclosure. And I just gotta say, obviously, if this were a male lion, this would have been a lot more violent. And typically cats, the way they kill their prey is by choking them to death. So at least it was a cat, a big cat, because had it been any other type of animal, more violent, he could have been ripped apart like chimps, hyenas, bears. You're pretty much getting eaten alive. Yeah, very painful. And I just gotta say, like, why? You know, the top comment here says that he had schizophrenia, apparently. This ain't it, bro. What?
If he had skits, right? Wouldn't you be accompanied by somebody? You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you be more accustomed to be accompanied by somebody? I don't think you would necessarily just pop out by yourself. I feel like if I knew one of my family members that I live with had skits, I'm going with them in most places. You know what I'm saying? Making sure they're taking their medication and basically monitoring. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing you just wanna, if he's known to do something that's sporadic, you know what I'm saying? He needs to be watched at all times.
What's he thinking? Another person said, if that was me, that lioness would have been, bruh. This is why you can never trust Instagram comments. Another person said, my granddad back told me always if an animal eats human, terrible grammar, you have to kill it because it's developed a taste for humans. I think that is true. So much like Harambe back in what was this, 2014 or some shit? 2016? This lioness by the name of Leona, beautiful name, can be seen here after the fact with blood all over her coat. Now I'm gonna be honest, hopefully they don't kill her. Apparently they didn't need any tranquilizers to, you know, get her back to normal. They didn't have to sedate her. This is a beautiful cat. She does not deserve to die for, you know, acting on her natural impulses. If this were a zookeeper, this would have been a completely different thing.
Boy, you could see the danger in her eyes. Boy, she's scaring me, looking at me, bro. Watch out, watch out.
But this was a stranger entering her home, and she didn't know if he posed a threat or not. So she did what she had to do. And mind you, ladies and gentlemen, lionesses, especially in nature, are very protective over their prides, their cubs, and even the lion, the head lion of the pride. They will do what they have to do to protect themselves. However, as according to this article, they say the victim, identified as 19-year-old Gerson Mikado, slipped into the big cat's pen in a shocking repeat of earlier attempts to get close to lions as a part of his obsession with becoming a trainer. Mikado, who had
So he said, I'm gonna skip doing the whole little training and going to school to be a trainer for lions. Cause you know what I'm saying, these days when you go apply for a job, they tell you, do you have any experience? He was trying to get his experience. You know what I'm saying? You know how hard it is to get these jobs these days. You know, you go to college, get out of college. They say, you got any experience? Do you have any work experience in the field? You need at least a couple years of experience. He was trying to get that experience. You feel me? It just didn't work out like that.
Once tried to reach Africa as a plain stowaway in a desperate bid to pursue his dream, was known to police after repeatedly breaching security in his fixation with cats. The troubled teenager who spent most of his life in care and struggled with severe mental health issues was filmed clambering down a tree inside the enclosure after scaling a 20-feet wall at the zoo in Joa Pessoa.
Boy, I know once he got down in that mug and got to feeling her claws and bite pressure, boy, I know every single thought he ever had, he retracted. I know he was like, I wish I never ever thought like this. And he straight prayed for this. He wanted to be around this so bad it hurt him.
Northeast Brazil. And ladies and gentlemen, you can see that wall here. This is him climbing right here. I'm just now seeing this footage actually.
So who's recording and not doing anything about it, bro? I don't hear nobody yelling.
Like genuinely, that is crazy. So we're getting a close-up shot of him not only scaling the wall, but we're gonna see him on the other side now. And we already saw that, right? We understand what's gonna happen next, right? And here we can see the lioness after the fact. So yeah, she looks, you know, kind of out of breath after doing what she had to do. And not gonna lie, at this point, if I hadn't said it already, this is Darwinism. This is natural selection. Obviously, this kid wasn't well in the head. Mental health issues, the article said. Some people said he had schizophrenia. Clearly, he wasn't mentally well, obviously. And I just gotta say, it is what it is. 19, you should know better. If he really was that mentally sick, maybe he should have been in a facility under care.
Under care, facility, under watch. How is this known kid known for doing these heinous type of acts to be around lions and not being watched? Who you feel me? They say he tried to sneak into Africa to go be next to the safari and shit. Like he was really finna do something like that. Like, and now he done snuck into the zoo. And where the zookeeper at?
In provision as to avoid something like this from potentially happening. Additionally, the article says that he was the son of a mother with schizophrenia with grandparents who also had mental health issues, who lived in extreme poverty. Revealing his dreams of going to Africa to tame lions, she recalled in an agonizing social media post, "You told me you were going to take a plane to go on a safari to Africa to look after lions. I thanked God when I was warned by the airport that you had cut the fence and got inside the landing gear compartment of a Gol Airlines plane. I thanked God because they saw on the cameras that there was a teenager there before a tragedy happened." So this is his mom recounting her thoughts at the time when he was trying to be a stowaway on a plane to Africa. They also say Gerson's story is that of a boy who just wanted to get to know Africa to tame lions. By the way, I believe this is being translated from Portuguese, so it may sound weird. They also say he discovered too late that a lion isn't a domestic cat and that we can't tame them without the right knowledge. Sadly, he wasn't sensible enough for that.
Yeah, sadly, he was not sensible enough for that. But at the same time, you could tell he had one of those moms where it's like, she just glad he's safe, but she don't look after him enough after a certain age, because after so long, you can't tell the boy what to do. You know what I'm saying? When he 19, he grown. He say, you know, he could pretty much say, F you, mom, and go do what he want to do. You know what I'm saying? That's why she was so happy that things transpired and how they did the first time they caught him.
City police who had arrested Gerson several times for minor offenses, including criminal damage, confirmed his Africa dream and said he had told them he would make the journey on foot after his airport security breach. City Hall officials confirmed after yesterday morning's tragedy at the Aruda Camera Park, also known as Bika or Bika, that it would be closed until the end of an ongoing investigation into the tragedy. They said in a statement, and I quote, "The man scaled a 20-foot wall and managed to get into the animal enclosure using one of the trees. According to police, it was a possible act of suicide. Although security staff tried to stop him, he acted very quickly and died as a result of the injuries the lioness inflicted on him."
Okay, they tried to stop him. Okay, because it seemed like the person I seen recording him on the wall wasn't worried at all. Probably would have, because me personally, I don't want to see nobody get mobbed, bro. You know what I'm saying? You see me out and you doing some belligerent stuff like that, I'm gonna try to save your life.
They say the park was then immediately closed. "We would like to express our solidarity with the family of the victim of this regrettable incident. The 26.8 hectare park where the tragedy occurred opened in 1921 is home to over 580 animal species, including elephants, monkeys, and birds, as well as a wide variety of plants. Zoo vet Tiago Neri said the lioness had been contained without the use of tranquilizer darts of weapons. So clearly she was a well-behaved lion. He said, and I quote, "She obeyed and returned to her pen, but it took some time because she was stressed and in shock." Brazilian politician Mateus Laiola, who previously served as chief of police of the Environmental Protection Department of Curitiba, said in an online post which raised eyebrows because of some of its content, and I quote, "A lioness did exactly what a lioness does. Instinct, defense, natural behavior of a wild..."
Yeah, and it's crazy because we really can't be mad at the animal.
Tragedy and error begin when humans ignore basic safety limits, risk their own lives, and also endanger the life of the animal. In Joa Pessoa, a man died yesterday after invading a lioness's enclosure at Aruda Kamara Park. According to the city council, he climbed a wall over 6 meters high, passed through the protective bars, used a tree for support, and entered the cage. We stand in solidarity with the victim's family. But when respecting wildlife, it's not a choice. It is a rule. When this boundary is ignored, it is always the animal that suffers, and this cannot continue to happen. Who do you think was the animal in this situation? That's a crazy ass line. That
is nuts. No way they ended the little documentary on that. Who do you think was the animal in this situation? Like, calm down, man. Somebody lost their life, man, and they weren't even in the right mindset, as y'all explained. Why would y'all do something like that? Stop playing.
About this, based off of what I was able to see, pretty much nobody is kind of feeling sorry for this kid. They're pretty much feeling sorry for the lioness because they thought that she would be basically killed. But no, Leona is safe. She's sound. She's still in her enclosure and she's being cared for. As for this kid, I mean, it is what it is. Mom had mental health issues. Grandparents had mental health issues. He has had mental health issues and now he's gone, you know? It's unfortunate, but thoughts and opinions down below. What do you think about this? If there's anything to learn from this situation, just stay out of the enclosure of lionesses or any other zoo animals that you're not familiar with. Should be common sense, but I guess common sense isn't as common anymore. But anyway, I'll catch all of you in the next one.
All right, Chad, let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Go follow my boy Maury on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? If you guys enjoyed what we watched, make sure y'all go follow the creators that I'm watching, you know what I'm saying? Because I always make sure to include them in my video credits on YouTube.